I think critical thinking is dead. I don't think people know how to critically think anymore. And it sucks. It's sad. But why? Why is this a thing? I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not someone who knows a lot about the human mind or whatever. But I am someone who has experienced some of these things and seeing people just obviously just not critically thinking anymore, right? So I just want to talk about some of the things that I saw and maybe why they don't do it anymore. So the very first obvious reason why people, well, in today's society, why I don't think people like to critically think anymore is because that they would just rely too much on AI now. AI has chatbots. Chatbots can give you literally any information in the world. You can talk to the chatbot in as much detail as possible, and it will give you an answer for that certain question. So, and it's free, so a lot of people have access to it. For example, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Meta AI. Like there's a lot of different chatbots out there on social media and on the internet. So it's very accessible for people to access, right? And Google has always been around too, so people have that. So why critically think when you can have something critically think for you? So people rely on that because it's easier and it doesn't require a lot of brain power because people are lazy. They don't care. If they want information, guess what they're gonna go to? They're gonna go to Google. They don't go read a book. They don't go to a library. They don't go to a dictionary to look up a word. They go to their phone or a chatbot because it's way more easy to access, cheaper, and it's more reliable. So people will do that because it's easier. A lot of people like to get things done easier because obviously that's how most people believe. The easier you can do something, obviously the people are gonna choose that to go with. So the reliance on AI bots can kill critical thinking, and over relying on it and making it into an everyday thing can kill the way your brain works, which can lead to brain rot. Also, short form content also has that. Short form content on the internet also has a certain factor to play when it comes to declining in brain rot, the declining in critical thinking, because people are so used to just watching and doom scrolling, you know, shorts every day. And I'm not saying that I don't do this. Of course, I doom scroll some ever so often. Sometimes, maybe a lot of times. Now I don't know what to say. But again, doom scrolling can also hurt the brain because people rely on short form content. And if they watch a video about a certain thing that they just want to learn about, they don't. I believe they won't even go freaking 10 minutes into a video because it's just too long for their brains to handle. So those are the few reasons why critical thinking is declining. There's another big reason why critical thinking is declining, and that's echo chambers. People are so easy to manipulate. They are. If you have critical thinking skills, you may have a shield to this, but to most people out there, it's very easy to manipulate people. It is. It honestly is with psychological tricks and all that. You can easily manipulate someone, and it's been proven. For example, things like cults. Cults are self-explanatory. Certain religions, they also manipulate people sometimes. For example, the Jamestown massacre, which certain someone, I think Jim Jones, no, not James Jonestown massacre. Jim Jones talked a lot of people into killing themselves because it's for a certain belief. So I'm not saying that if you do that, then you're basically like them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are some examples out there that show that it is very easily to manipulate someone or people. Not all of them, but most of them. So social media also has a play into that with that. Well, it's like it's an echo chamber. A lot of people, you probably heard that word so many times, echo chamber, and that's what an echo chamber is. Basically, it's just reflecting your beliefs back and forth into basically like it's echoing to you. Well, okay, so oh, you see, I believe in this certain belief. So oh, it says that this believes it too. Oh, and it says that this one oh, and this one and it's like it's just echoing. Like you never hear about the other side. You only keep hearing about your side, and it makes you feel bad about yourself. Well, you just don't even check out the other side because you don't care, and that's just what it is. It's actually a famous philosophy thing. It's called confirmation bias. Why do I know that? Because I took a philosophy class. Confirmation bias is, well, you like to have instant gratification. So the more you like intel about a specific belief that you only want to focus on, it's gonna make you feel more confident about the belief while excluding other other beliefs. For example, I'm not gonna get political. I'm not gonna get anything into like all that bullcrap. I'm just gonna talk about like certain simple things. Avocados are such a good fruit. vegetable. I don't know what they are, but they are. Avocados are good, right? So if you're saying that avocados are good and like they're the best food ever, I don't want to eat any other food other than avocados. And if you go through social media and right, you're gonna read about a lot of things about how avocados are the best food. You don't have to eat any other food. If you eat avocados, you will become freaking Superman. Like you're gonna keep intaking that while excluding other factors, like, oh, maybe avocados isn't the best food for you, And then he was a big, he was a big reason why, but the people who believe in that certain belief are gonna like reject it and saying, no, I don't want to look at that. I want to keep digesting and this, and it becomes basically a confirmation bias. It's an echo chamber, instant gratification. So a lot of people are very inclined to that, and also they just don't like thinking for themselves, because when someone holds on to a certain belief, like when they have a certain belief to something, they want to hold on to it, right? They just want to freaking hold in their arms. They want to put a ring on it and marry it, right? So, and people don't like being proven wrong. Nobody does. Even I don't like to be proven wrong, because when I'm proven wrong, I look like a complete and utter fool, right? So, when they critically think about why they want to, believe in this certain belief, they basically there's a certain way where it can, like, when you critically think about it, it can like obscure the thing. I don't know, what am I saying? It can obscure the position where, oh, when you critically think about this belief, maybe it's not good. Maybe my belief is wrong. Maybe I have there's a big opposition to it. So when you critically think, it can kind of like the answer when you critically think can like oppose that belief. And when people, and they just want to avoid it, right? People don't like to be proven wrong. And when, hold on, my brain fart, hold on, give me a second. Sorry, I had a big brain fart. I also had to do something a little bit, but anyway, let's go back. People don't like to be proven wrong. So when they critically think, it's kind of like they're forcing themselves not to critically think, because if they critically think about their belief, guess what's gonna happen? Most likely the belief is gonna become wrong, and it's just not the right option. Right? I'm not saying that every single belief is wrong. I'm saying that like there are certain beliefs that are wrong, and when you critically think about it, you will understand why it's wrong. But people like to skip past that. They don't want to do like external research. They don't want to critically think about it. When the way most people think, like the way like literally everybody thinks, even I think about this. I think about things like this. The way most people think is that they like to think conclusions first. Like they want to go straight to a conclusion. They just want to go boom. Alright, like for example, there was a video. I'm gonna get a little bit messy in here, but there was a video about this college teacher who was talking to a student about why J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, or like why she's like a bigot or something like that, right? So he basically experiments with that person, like a thought experiment, where he says, okay, so you think that J.K. Rowling's this, right? So, or bigot, I don't know what it was. I forgot, it was a long time ago. But why you think it like this, right? So, can you tell me why you think of it like this, and what do you think the student's gonna say? I don't freaking know why. I just heard a lot of people on the internet saying it. So a lot of people like just to like think, like when people are thinking, they kind of like to think about, they want other people to think for them, right? And it's kind of sad, because that's not how you're supposed to think. The best way to to have a belief, or like the process to agree with a certain belief, or like the best way to think is, don't go straight to conclusion. Don't rationalize things. Research the topic. Okay, so here's this side, here's the other side, right? Okay, this side has this certain thing. Okay, the other side has this certain thing, right? And after you compare, research, critically think about it, use logical thinking, then you can come to the conclusion. But it's like most people think conclusions first, right? I want to conclude about this. This is my conclusion. Like when you ask someone, hey, what do you think about this? They're most likely gonna say, oh yeah, it's that. This is what I think of, and they don't like logically, or like they don't have they don't think, because they always think about conclusion first, right? So I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm gonna stop talking about this before I repeat myself, because I sound like I am. But I want to go on to one more thing about this. I think the education system also has a big play into the critical thinking declining phenomenon. So education right now in school is very based on memorization. It is standardized tests on memorization. Most of the things that you learn are memorization. You don't go into like why this happens. The big example is math. Math is probably the subject. I do a lot of math on there. Math is probably one of the biggest critical thinking subjects out there. That's why people hate it. The reason why people hate math is because they have to critically think and use logic, and people don't have that. That's why a lot of people like reading and writing and all the other things, because there's not a lot of critical thinking. It's more creativity. But when it comes to things like math, that's where critical thinking comes in, and a lot of people can't do it. Why do you think people say that math is hard? Well, it's because they can't critically think, or it's just hard for them in general. Again, math is pretty hard, but math is not safe because math is now also becoming more of a memorization thing. For example, knowing the quadratic formula. Do you know why the quadratic formula works? It does. You know that the quadratic formula is a way where you can find the x values in a quadratic equation, right? Do you know why it works? You probably don't know why the quadratic formula works. Well, of course, the quadratic formula works by taking the quadratic formula and using a series of completing the squares, right? And when you complete the squares, then you get your quadratic formula. Like, that's how it works. Like, you don't know why it works. You just have to memorize what other people did a long time ago that critically think about it, and then you just have to memorize it. For example, in my calculus class, I'm very bad at area of volume questions when it comes to integration and rotating things around a certain curve. I don't know that. I've been told a formula for it, like disk and washer method, right? So like how disk, you have to like subtract like the top and the bottom, right, and square it. And for washer, you subtract the top and the bottom, and then inside the inner circle, you have to subtract the top and the bottom, and square everything, right? But I never been told why it works. Like, why do we do this, right? And you kind of want to critically think about that, right? So I watched a video because it didn't help. Like, knowing the formula, it kind of didn't really help me, because calculus is a subject that requires a lot of critical thinking, and if you just memorize certain concepts in math, you're not going to get that far in math, right? It's just, you're not going to get that far. You're not going to know why it works. And because if you memorize certain math equations, you memorize this certain formula, you're not going to understand it, because math builds on that formula. It builds, and you have to logically think about it. So just given a formula for like an area and volume equation for calculus, when you rotate a curve around a certain axis, right? It doesn't really help me when you just give me a volume, a formula. It just doesn't help. So I watched videos about it, right? I watched this guy, Shut Up Black Pen Red Pen. I watched a video about his area and volume like rotations out there, and it helped me a lot because he broke it down. He broke down, okay, this is why it works. Like, okay, you have to split the graph. You have to split it into two different graphs, and then you have to subtract both of them and square it. And I know like why, and it helped me a lot. So like when you break down things further and you like build on the concepts of, and like critically think about it more, you will understand. That's just how it works. And I don't know why people don't want to do that, because again, people are very easy to manipulate. People don't like to be proven wrong, and when people are proven wrong, they get mad. They get absolutely pissed, or just become disappointed, and it sucks. So I don't really know the point of this video. This is probably a very offensive video. This is probably a very interesting video. I don't know, but I just want to talk about it because I've been, as someone who's been on the internet for so long, and me, like I just keep seeing like critical thinking is just declining, and like you can see it like when it comes to like different industries, like the gaming industry, or like even politics, or a lot of topics that have like two-sided opinions. Like when you like look at the people who are like defending it, or like when you actually like research the topic, you'll know a lot more about the topic, and to see, okay, this side is obviously the better side to agree with. But I don't know. I just want to talk about that. Again, I'm not a philosopher. Don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a regular dude, right? I took one philosophy class. I took like 2 psychology classes. Like, I don't believe everything I'm saying, but that's just what I've been seeing. So yeah, yeah. So is critical thinking dead? I believe so, but we can probably, hopefully, repair it. Hopefully. That's it. Thanks for watching.